Well, let's turn to other stories now. 2 people have been killed and 1 wounded in what Russia has said was an Ukrainian attack on the Crimean bridge. Blasts were reported before dawn on the 19-kilometer road and rail bridge linking Russia to Crimea, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. This has led to Kremlin declining to extend the Black Sea grain deal, stalling Ukrainian grain exports to the rest of the world. There is more in the following report.
Russian officials have said Ukraine was behind what they called a terrorist attack on the bridge. However, the Ukrainian military has suggested the attack could be some kind of provocation by Russia itself. The parents of a girl were killed and the daughter was injured in a passenger car. The girl was being treated in intensive care. Governor of the Belgorod region said the girl was injured in a message on the Telegram messaging app. Russia had blamed Ukraine for an attack on the bridge last October, saying it was organized by Ukrainian military intelligence and its director. After the October attack, Russia launched strikes against Ukrainian cities, including power supplies, in retaliation. In reaction to the explosion, the Kremlin says Russia has halted its participation in a deal to allow war-torn Ukraine ship grain through the Black Sea to parts of the world struggling with hunger. The United Nations and Turkey brokered the breakthrough accord with Ukraine and Russia in July last year, which came with a separate agreement to facilitate shipment of Russian food and fertilizer that Moscow insists has not been applied. The UN deal is due to expire today, with the last ship to travel under the deal leaving the port of Odessa early on Sunday. Russia agreed a year ago to sign the Black Sea grain deal, which allowed Ukraine to resume shipping food from its southern ports despite the war. Serious damage to the bridge would undermine Russian supply lines while potentially stranding tens of thousands of Russian tourists in Crimea. The bridge, Europe's longest, was built by a company controlled by Putin ally. The Russian-backed administration of the Crimean Peninsula urged residents not to travel via the bridge.
And joining us to discuss the importance of the termination of the grain deal is an international relations expert, Uriah Fancheli. He joins us via Zoom from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good to have you join us.
Hi, Precious. Thank you for having me here.
So we're now seeing Russia's refusal to extend the Black Sea grain deal. What's your thought on this, and what impacts could it have on global import and food security?
Well, it already did. The price of the wheat internationally already went up 3%. Ukraine is responsible for exporting 10% and exporting and producing 10% of the world's total wheat, 15% of the corn market. So the food prices everywhere, they should go up in the following days. It's something that it didn't come completely as a surprise, because last week the UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres, he already was trying to get Russia to agree to renew its deal. He even proposed that Russia's agricultural bank would be included back into the international to the SWIFT, the international payment system. Just if if Russia decided to keep the deal that was broken by Turkey and the UN last year. What Russia sees is that it's very unfair that Ukraine gets to export its own grain, and Russia has a problem doing the same thing. So there are two sides of this story.
Well, is there a possibility of a renewed deal of some sort And could Turkey once again help broker that deal?
Well, I don't think it's very likely that Turkey will be the one to broke this deal again, because if we look at what happened in the past few days, Turkey has been distanced itself a lot from Russia, even by allowing, for example, Sweden to join NATO. It's not likely that Turkey will play its part. President Recep Erdogan said he would try to talk to Putin, but I don't think it's very likely. But again, it can happen. Russia should demand a few things to, for example, the removal of some sanctions worldwide to get this deal back on the track. And everything happens at the same time that there's a meeting being held in Brussels, in Belgium. It's a meeting between the European Union.
And I was just going to take you up on that.
Oh, okay.
We know that Russia definitely is going to use the Black Sea grain deal as some sort of leverage to lift sanctions. But I was going to talk to you about that EU candidacy status. We know that the EU is set to make a historic offer of candidacy status to Ukraine, and that's at a 2-day summit in Brussels. Will this translate to more security guarantees for Ukraine?
This meeting is being held between the European Union and CELAC, which is the Latin American and Caribbean community of countries. It has 33 members. The EU has 27 members. So if we put them all together, it's a meeting between 60 countries in the world. And one of the problems in this meeting is that these countries, they cannot get a single position about the Russia-Ukraine war. Some of them, they just want to talk about the Ukraine war, and some want to talk about Russian aggression. And when Russia shows how it has the power to influence the price of the food everywhere in the world, it is actually trying to get the Latin American countries that are not very well aligned with Russia on its side. So it's a way to say, you either support me or I'll make life difficult everywhere else.
Interesting days ahead. Thank you so much for talking to us, as always, international relations expert Uriah Fancheli.
Thank you, Precious.